Hello everybody and welcome to a WWE edition of NXT for July 8th, 2025. We start off with Ricky Saints trying to earn a #1 contender shot. So Ricky Saints has a gauntlet match between Baylor, Jackson Drake, and Ricky Smokes. If Ricky Saints beats all the members of the Vanity Project, he gets an NXT North American Championship match against All Ego, Ethan Page, and gets to choose the stipulation for the match. Baylor starts off. Feeling out Saints in control early, Baylor turns the tide and hammers him with cross-face strikes. A kick in the corner and elbow, trading right hands, and Brad blocks a kick and hits drill bit. 1, 2, nope. Ricky with right hands, a whoop across, big lariats, put Baylor off balance, and a back body drop follows it up. And then a beautiful springboard tornado DDT. And Ricky Saints goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. And Ricky Saints beats Brad Baylor and heads to the next gauntlet match. And Ricky Saints goes against Ricky Smokes. Smokes gets a near fall right out of the gates. Smokes with another near fall off a knee lift, and Saints is clearly in a bad way. Overhead elbows. The former champ comes back with a big back body drop and inverted DDT. Goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out. Saints with a Manhattan drop, and then Saints with a jackknife pin for the 1, 2, 3, and your winner of the second match. And advancing in the gauntlet is Ricky Saints. Jackson Drake is laying strikes to start the third match. A kick in the spine, deathlock, the knees, stomps the back of the head. A deathlock, cutthroat bow and arrow follows, but Saint fights out. A whip reversed. Low drop kick from Jackson. Buzzsaw kick. Fireman's carry, double knee gut buster connects. Nope. Ricky blocks a kick. A fireman's carry dropped into a face buster. An enziguri from Drake. A kip up. Lying in wait, a sliding knee connects. Ricky charges in, nobody home. A big kick from Jackson, slingshot to the apron. Slingshot cannonball senton connects, but Saints drops him with a lariat right after. Drake gets up, and then Ricky hits his finisher, the Roshambo, and pins Jackson Drake. 1, 2, 3, and your winner of the match and #1 contender for the NXT North American Championship is Ricky Saints. Afterwards, he picks up the mic and All Ego Ethan Page is already at ringside watching on the commentary table. He tells him in Atlanta, anything goes, a falls count anywhere match for the NXT North American Championship. Next we have a vignette of Blake Monroe treating Jordan Grace to a glamour workout. They go and have a nice spa day, getting Jordan ready for her championship match. Next we have Charlie Dempsey versus Tavon Heights. If Tavon wins, he's out of no quarter catch crew. Dempsey hitting hard out of the gates. An action to the floor, back inside, mat grappling. Charlie grabs a cravat and hangs in there as Heights rolls around. Tavon with a wrist lock, wrenching it in. Dempsey with hard rights, and he tears the protective mask off of Heights. A double leg grounded punches, a big leaping lariat. Both men are down and out as we go to commercial. Back from commercial, Charlie has a crossface chicken wing locked in, but Heights counters it with a slingshot slam. A hip toss, another hip toss, fired up, a single leg plow through palm strikes to catch both men to the floor. Dempsey slams Tavon viciously into the steel steps, his legs caught in the gap against the post. Charlie stomps away at his legs until he falls loose and throws him back inside. A single leg crab, sitting down in it, wrenching it, but Heights won't give up. Reaching, crawling, desperate, Dempsey drags him into the middle of the ring and stomps his ankle. A step over, toe hold, wrenching it into the back with his elbow. Again, Heights crawls, and again Charlie drags him to the center. He drops a knee, kneeling, bow and arrow, wrenching it, but Tavon refused to quit. Wren Sinclair throws in the towel. Charlie Dempsey won the match when Wren Sinclair threw in the towel. And Tavon Heights is still in no quarter catch crew because Wren Sinclair threw in the towel. Hank and Tank are backstage getting hyped for their title defense, while Lexus King experimentally probes the fixtures in the back of the room like he's checking her secret doors. Javon Evans rolls up and says he expects them to get their backs and have that bouncy bounce. Jasper Troy blindsides Evans and beats him down. The tag champs try to keep him away, but he hammers Javon against the garage door that King was probing moments ago. Next we have Joe Hendry and Mike Santana versus the Ryze, Tyriek, Igwe, and Tyson Dupont. Hendry and Igwe start. Wrist lock from Tyriek, countered into a headlock takeover. Counter to a head scissors. Tag made. Dupont rams Santana into the corner and works him over. Quick tags, but Mike is quicker. Joe Hendry comes in, scoop and fall away slam on Tyson. A snap zoom turns respect, and we go to break. Back from commercial, Dupont lays Hendry out for a near fall. Tag to Igwe, a guillotine choke is locked in, and Joe starts to fade. He gets away and tags a fired up Santana in the match. Off the ropes, a big topo con gyro on Tyson. Match breaks down. Hendry and Igwe are brawling in the ring. A low bridge sends Tyriek to the floor, and Joe follows it with a senton to the floor. Mike gets Dupont up, a back suplex. Wesley runs interference, and Trick Williams, the TNA champion, is there for the distraction. Santana sidesteps Dupont and hits a discus lariat And Joe Hendry also hits a discus lariat on Tyson Dupont. And the winners of the match after the pin are Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. After the match, Trick attacks, a brawl breaks out, and the heels have the numbers advantage. Trick's challengers find themselves on the wrong side of town. A trick shot takes out Joe Hendry. Next we have Oba Femi, the NXT champion, in the ring, with the number 1 contender Yosuke Amura and Josh Briggs by his side. Amura gets on the mic and says Femi will be his greatest challenge, but he is ready and he is supported by Briggs and the fans and his family, and he will win with honor. Oba asks him if he's ready to lose with honor, because the truth will prevail and he isn't worthy to take the title from him. Who? Josh gets on the mic and says Yosuke is being polite. Did you see what he did to Jasper Troy last week? He beat Troy easily. And he's gonna do the exact same thing to the ruler. And at the bash, he's gonna beat Oba's ass. He says he's gonna do everything he can to make sure Amura wins, because this is their only chance. Femi tells Briggs this isn't his fight, and a brawl breaks out between the two of them, with Amura largely sidelined until Josh gets put to the floor. Yosuke overwhelms Oba and lands a Revolution body slam as referees and road agents break it up. Next we have Kelani Jordan versus Lainey Reid. Jordan with a fireman's carry takeover, trading trips off the ropes. A split drop down monkey flip in passing. Kelani sends her to the floor with a drop kick and goes for a plancha, only for Lainey to dodge and then dragon screw her on the apron, slamming her leg into the apron. Back inside half crab, and we see Zelina Vega walking outside in the dark for some reason. A full Boston crab now. Jordan clawing her way to the ropes, and she rolls Reid through into the ropes for the break. Kelani lays her out. A kip up, slapping life into her knee, which has been worked on throughout the match. A fireman's carry. Lainey fights back to her feet, but Jordan picks her back up and drops her with a waistland. A double jump gets blocked. A kick sends Reid flying, but she comes back with a beautiful enziguri. Climbing up with Kelani, jockeying for position, Jordan knocks her down. Kelani Jordan hits Reid with a split-legged moonsault that looked beautiful and had Booker T in awe. She goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and your winner of the match is Kelani Jordan. After the match, Thea Hale arrives and beats Lainey Reid down. Next, we have Tony D'Angelo, Luca Cristofino, and the NXT Heritage Cup champion Channing Stacks Lorenzo arriving in a storage room, somewhere ready to fight, but Rizzo appears and tells them all to sit and work it out. Stacks takes a dig at Tony's leadership and says she called this final sit down because she saw the three of them lose focus on what they created in NXT and all the ways they disappointed people together. She gets on to Tony for not working harder in Vegas to sit down with the three of them before admitting there's no saving it and there's one last piece of family business. Every time Stack's here underboss, he thinks he deserves better, and every time Lucas signs a document, he wonders if Tony has his best interest in mind. And the Don is always worried about being stabbed in the back. So what she did had to be done, and she spoke to the NXT General Manager Ava Rain and got a triple threat next week to put this all to bed. One final battle. Lorenzo complains he's being set up. Tony says that's typical rat behavior. Cristofino accuses Channing of being the first to turn. D'Angelo says Luca's no better, and he and Stacks hate each other. Tony says they should split the cup. Luca says he needs to get out of their shadow, and the Don says he's done here, and they all get up. Lorenzo tells D'Angelo not to let him catch him by himself. Next we have Jasper Troy in the ring and says he's done with Javon Evans and demands Ava add him to the title match at Great American Bash. But Evans isn't done with him, and the young OG storms into the ring and manages to lay Jasper out with a super kick and follows it up with a huge dive. Mounted punches as security pulls him off, and Troy cannot recover. Afterwards, it is confirmed that Jasper Troy and Javon Evans will meet one-on-one at the Great American Bash. Next we have Hank and Tank. Hank Walker and Tank Williams versus the Culling, Niko, Vance, and Shawn Spears for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Brawling before the bell, Walker and Spears to start. A whip to reverse, a big stinger splash, and a lariat from Hank. Off the ropes, a low freight train tope to save Ledger from Vance. Back inside the ring, a basement dropkick from Shawn Spears. Headbutt, snapmare, stomp to the face. A tag to Niko, trouncing Walker in the corner. Hank explodes out and a tag to Tank. A big shoulder block off the ropes and a leapfrog splash for a 2 count. Ledger with a side headlock. Vance overpowers him. A tag to Spears, a neck breaker and a knee drop, and a cover for a 1 count. Continuing to work Tank over, Hank gets in there. The action spills to the floor. Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley run interference, and Niko Vance pounces Walker over the announce desk and wipes Booker T out to send us to break. Back from commercial, Walker and Vance are down and out, and tags are made. Ledger with uppercuts, an atomic drop, a big springboard shoulder block, and a dive to the floor. Spears with a pair of super kicks, then a tag to Niko. Diving headbutt connects. 1, 2, Hank breaks it up. Tank gets Shawn up in a fireman's carry. Izzy gets a cheat shot and impaler DDT. 1, 2, and oh so close to 3, but a kick out. Soroka appears to brawl with Dame and Zaria. They pick Tatum Paxley and walk off with her. Hank and Tank are really putting it down. A big lariat takes Niko off his feet. Spears sacrifices himself in an assisted power slam, and that's how the match ends. Hank and Tank win by pinfall with the assisted power slam on Shawn Spears, retaining the NXT Tag Team Championships. After the match, Tank is busted open as they celebrate, bleeding. Next we have the final segment. Ava Rain is in the ring for the Evolution Summit, and she starts off talking about the first Evolution pay-per-view and how proud she is to be the general manager of NXT and taking part in this second one. she announces Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Kelani Jordan, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley as NXT's sixth entrants into the Battle Royal, and says they'll show everyone why NXT always steps up and shows out. They have the deepest women's division in the world, and NXT is the land of opportunity. Enter Fatal Influence. The NXT Women's Champion Jacy Jayne asks Ava if she remembers her as the NXT Women's Champion, and says she doesn't need to talk about the Battle Royal when she's gonna be defending her title and the depth of the division, all of them. Enter Jordan Grace. She asks everybody to act surprised that Jacy is running her mouth again, and Evolution is about the woman who paved the way for them, and when she takes the title, she's gonna steer the division into the future. Enter Lash Legend. She loves this. It's a gift for her, for them to keep fighting over the title while she goes ahead and wins the Battle Royal and goes on to win a title at Clash in Paris. Enter Stephanie Valkyrie. She says she respects that Jacy beat her, but on Sunday, Jordan's gonna beat her, and then she's gonna win the Battle Royal. Enter Natalya and Maxine Dupree. Dupree goes to bat for Natty as the boat and says one of them is gonna win the title in Paris and go to Paris. Neidhart says the Dungeon Dolls didn't come to play, they came to win, and they're gonna be the final two in the Battle Royal. Women start filtering in from all edges. Jada Parker, Julia, and a few others. She tells them to keep that energy going because she's going to be on point at Evolution, and you best believe it's going to be her time. At this, a huge brawl breaks out. All the women are fighting each other, and Ava Rain bails and tries to restore order with referees. And that's how NXT ends. So what did you think of the show? How did you think it prepped for Evolution? I give it about a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.